As FIBA 3x3 gets ready to celebrate its 10th birthday, we thought it was time for us to bring you the 10 best games of all time. Now, we looked at a bunch of different criteria, from memorable finishes, spectacular games, high stakes, you name it. And I can't lie, we left out a lot of great games. So spoiler alert for you, get ready for a part 2 coming soon. But in the meantime, here are our picks. Coming up at number 10, of course, we go to Lausanne, Switzerland, 2019, an epic quarterfinal between New York Harlem and Team Nantes. Now, you know banks are always open in Switzerland, and with this shot, French star Lucas Dussoulier gave Nantes a 4-point cushion with less than a minute to go. That's when my man Kadani Brutus cut the deficit in half with a two-piece from the logo, but things did not look good for the New Yorkers, with 19-year-old Florian Fortas on the line with 2 chances to ice the game with 5 seconds to go.
He misses the first, which leaves the door creaked. Oh, he misses it. Joey King, Disco Damo, 3, 2, what the heck was that? A T-cell buzzer beater to send it to OT. That man they know as Disco Damo. OMG, mind blown. That's what happens if you leave the door open on a team that has a man like that. That's only gonna further help his case as the #1 player in the world. Meantime, this will win it for Mr. Mustache. We're in OT, first team to win it. First team to score 2 wins it, and Brutus is gonna do it. I'm at a loss for words. What do you say? Another T-cell buzzer beater. This one from day one's hero, Kadani Brutus, and Disco Damo taking over the show here in Lausanne.
Even more insane, New York Harlem went on to win the tournament, their first ever on the World Tour, and Disco Damo continued his monster season to become World Tour regular season MVP. At number 9, we go to the semifinals of the Asia Cup 2018 and one of the biggest rivalries in sports, Australia versus New Zealand. And this game had more stars than both of their flags combined. With a 1-2 punch of Beck Cole and Matty Garrett, Australia were up 6 with a bit more than a minute to go. And then the Kiwis started a furious comeback. A 1-0, 3-0, 5-0, 6-0 run to send the game to overtime. And this OT had more drama than a new teenager, and it finished on an unbelievable 2-piece from Michaela Cox. By the way, you gotta love the dude calling it at the bottom right of the screen, right?
Wide open look for Cox. This one ended. It's done. What a win. What a win for New Zealand. Knocking off the reigning champs here in the semis. What a clutch shot from Cox. Ice water running through her veins. After the scrub for the rock, you see the 2-piece held up in the camera shot.
New Zealand goes on to win the Asia Cup gold. And word on the street, Beck Cole still hasn't rewatched this game. 8 is always great, and this one is an instant classic in 2 parts. Check this out. In 2018, Serbia knocked out Poland in the semifinals of the World Cup on a crazy T-cell buzzer beater, courtesy of the maestro, Dejan Majstorovic. Now, 1 year later, the same 2 teams were meeting again in the bronze medal game of the World Cup 2019 in Amsterdam. Poland were up all game, but once again, the nemesis were crawling back in it.
Now the maestro elevates on Stroker. How in the world does he keep hitting shots like that?
Money in the Bank Michael Hicks got blocked and then committed a foul on Marko Savic, who calmly gave Serbia the lead with 12 seconds remaining. Now what follows next is one of the craziest shots in 3x3 history.
10 seconds to play, the ball's in Money in the Bank's hands. Can he win it? His first medal. He drives, he up fakes, he got Savage off his feet, and he hit the 2! Unbelievable! Money in the Bank with the biggest deposit of his career. He puts Poland in front, 16-15 with 3 seconds left. And his team has a bronze medal.
He's finally done it. He's finally beat Serbia. It's celebration time. The emotion, as he's never been able to top Serbia, he finally gets it done, gets revenge from a loss last year.
It's finally our turn to get lucky. Last year, Maestro hit this backboard shot, which is lucky. Now it's my turn to get lucky, so now we even.
At number 7, we go back to the 2018 edition of the Asia Cup with a script with more twists and turns than Salsa Night. The reigning champs Mongolia had once again done upset after upset and were up against the favorites Australia in the final. Josh Garlop was out there doing his best Dirk Nowitzki impression, and Australia were up the entire game. That is until the last 15 seconds of regulation.
They go down low, and right on cue, we go straight to work. As Debrecen evens the game at 15. Tom Wright, pull up, missed. 3 seconds left, and a foul called on Steele.
Only in 3x3. 1 second you get a chance to win the game. The second after, the other gets 2 trips to the line to get the W. But this game wasn't gonna stop after 10 minutes.
Oh, he misses a goal! Unbelievable. So we're going to overtime.
The crowd was getting wilder than Deontay in OT, but Josh Garlop was not losing the game that day.
Mongolia strikes first. Steele gets it over to Garlop. Pull up 2! Tasty! Right in the eye socket of Debrecen. And we got a new gold medal winner here in Shenzhen. Garlop, I wouldn't be surprised if he walks away with MVP.
Our next game is an old one, dating all the way back to the 2015 U18 World Cup in Debrecen, Hungary. What makes it a classic isn't necessarily the ending, but how spectacular the game was and what happened to this bunch of teenagers. 5 years later, Zach Collins and PJ Washington both play in the NBA. And both Killian Tilly and Peyton Pritchard are college stars and on every draft board. This game was so lit, the highlight reels are longer than some full games. Tilly was hitting the block button before it became popular. Raymond Felton's nephew, Jalik, showed all his moves in his bag, and the American alley-oop game was on point. And that game was just a quarterfinal. I'm telling you, we need to organize a rematch now that these dudes are all grown up. At number 5, this might be the best example of how quickly things turn around in 3x3. All right, let me set the scene for you. Amsterdam, Museumplein Square, between the Rijks and the Van Gogh Museum. Fittingly, we had ourselves a masterpiece on the 3x3 court. Hungary and Spain battling it out to the last second, and Sandra Iguedavide coming up big in money time.
And that's a Tissot buzzer beater to send us to overtime.
What comes next is the most heartbreaking OT in the history of 3x3.
They get it to Cuevas, back to Iguedavide, back to Cuevas. She blew the crib. Now Manchesi can win it, and she does it! Tissot buzzer beater in overtime. Mind-boggling, insane, unbelievable. Hungary shocks Spain and will go into the semifinals after an unreal finish here in Amsterdam.
All right, there's 4 more, believe it or not, if your heart can deal with it. Let me gather myself, take a deep breath. This one was crazy. At number 4, we go back to Debrecen, this time for the semifinals of the World Tour Debrecen Masters 2017. Liman against Novi side. Definitely one of the biggest rivalries in 3x3 history. You got 2 Serbian teams from the same city fighting not just to be the best team in Novi side, but who's the best team in the world. This game also started to look like a mano-a-mano between Dusan Bullet and Stefan Stojic, who, by the way, owned the last 2 minutes of the game.
Dusan stops on Stojic. Stojic is a good D there. Bulletproof, nowhere to go. I don't believe he just made that. That was Kelly Bundy dumb. I just don't understand that make. It was ridiculous, and then I guess one crazy shot deserves another one, as Stojic takes it right at bulletproof, gets the score plus the foul.
With the game tied at 17 all, and all eyes on Dusan and Stojic, it was Alexander Ratko who stepped up for the best circus shot of all time.
5 seconds left in this one. The pass, the shot. Oh my goodness! Oh my God! How in the heck did he make that? The upset of the year so far, as Liman gets past Novi Awada with a circus shot, courtesy of Ratko.
Seriously though, I've watched this play a million times, and I still don't know how he pulled it off. Man! At number 3, we take the time machine back to 2016, the U18 World Cup semifinals between Brazil and Italy in Astana, Kazakhstan. This one had to be one of the biggest comebacks in 3x3 history. Now imagine being up 18-10 with less than 2 minutes to go, or 20-16 with 27 seconds to go. Game over with, right? These Brazilian dudes had other things in mind. Marcelo Duro hit a clutch 2-piece to make it a 1-point game. And then the biggest steal I've ever seen from a tournament MVP, Fabrizio Verissimo. Give me that.
And it's stolen by Fabrizio on the foul. There's a foul on the play. What a turn of events. What a turn of events. So Fabrizio with a chance to hit a free throw here and tie the game with 3.7 seconds remaining. Can he put it on ice? And he does! Brazil pulls off the improbable victory, coming from behind to beat Italy.
Now that game had a case for number 1. In any case, as we move to number 2, we have the biggest TSO buzzer beater in 3x3 history. Novi Sad were the big favorites in the championship game of the World Tour final in 2017 in Beijing, and they were facing a fellow Serbian squad, Team Zemun, who by the way had never won a single World Tour Masters in their entire career. It was a cold, dark night, and Dusan Bullet seemed to be on his way to another MVP trophy as he put his team up 4 points with 100 seconds to go. But Novi Sad didn't score a single point for the rest of the game. That opened the door up for Lazar Rasic, Marko Dugacia, and Nikola Vukovic to turn the tables. Next thing you know, we had a tie game with 30 seconds to play, and their 4th player, Bogdan Dragovic, well, here's what he did.
One-on-one with Dusan. Dusan gets a hand on it. Dragovic, oh my God! Oh my God! I don't believe what I just saw. Bogdan Dragovic with the fireball of his life. And he beats Novi Sad Awada in an unbelievable comeback here.
And I probably lost my voice for 2 months after this. Thanks, Dragon.
Are you ready?
Drum roll, please. It's the moment we reveal the number 1 greatest game in 3x3 history. And this game had it all. Great venue in the heart of Guangzhou, China. Huge crowd, perfect conditions, the biggest stage possible as a final of the World Cup. You had a clash between 2 teams with contrasting styles. A crazy athletic American team that will embarrass you one-on-one. And a machine straight out of Serbia looking to dissect. 2 of the players on that American team went on to play in the NBA with Mike Henry and Alfonso McKinney. And these 2 teams were going tit for tat like rival siblings. You had Mike Henry straight bullying the Serbs, and Serbia responding with some of the best backdoor cuts you won't ever see. Henry and McKinney, meantime, continued to show finesse, but Mr. Bulletproof and the Maestro were hitting them up from long range. Stefan Hanna bridged the gap down to 3 points, but that's when Dusan Bullet pulled off maybe the most iconic shot in 3x3 history. I can still see it now.
Now Dusan with Henry on him. Gives it to him for the game winner. Team Serbia says the gold is ours here in Guangzhou. So Team USA forced to settle for silver as the number 1 player in the world goes and joins his Serbian fans in celebration after taking gold here in Guangzhou at the World Championships.
Game over. with 3 minutes before the limit. Mr. Bulletproof with the ultimate proof that this was a perfect game, a game for the ages. Our greatest 3x3 game of all time. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. If you want to watch more 3x3, what you waiting for? Click subscribe and make sure you hit that bell, why don't you?